Hey, welcome back, guys. Kevin here from Candy Banana Balls. Do you guys ever have a problem in the winter? Do you have a cold area where you're keeping your snakes or reptiles? That was my issue for winter this year. I'm using a detached garage from my house that does not have a heat source in it. Now, this year coming up, I will have a heat source in there. But is there a way to make your snakes comfortable in an area where you could have an ambient temperature in the room that could be even 30 degrees or below? That was a big thing for me. I put something together and I tested it this winter, and it did actually work. What I did is I took a set of metal shelves from Lowe's, and those shelving units I took and sectioned off a place where I could stack about 6 adult-sized totes, and I put a heat source in there, and then I put a heat mat basically for each tote. So if you're going to have 6 totes in there, you'd have 6 separate heat mats, each underneath each tote, and then thermostats to regulate the heat mats on each one of those. So in that area, I could create an ambient temperature of 84 degrees constant, and then I could have hot spots on each one of those totes at 90 degrees. I'll give you a quick show of what I did, just to give you guys an idea if you run into this problem. Because if you have a snake rack in a room that's going to be much more than 8 to 10 degrees colder than what you're looking for an ambient temperature, you're not going to be able to achieve it. If you have a cold area in your house and you want to be able to keep your reptiles there, something like this would be about the only way to make it work. And basically what I did was basically just created a small room. I mean, you could do this with a closet or a small space with a space heater, but I just made it into a shelving unit, and I can extend that shelving unit. I could raise it, lower it, or I could just incorporate it, by venting the heat up through different levels with a fan and circulating. And I did have a fan circulating the heat. Tested it several weeks, different temperatures. The garage at one point, I left the door open on a very, very cold day. It was below 0 outside. The garage reached temperature of around 0, and the enclosure, the area where I would kept the snakes, stayed at constant 84 degrees, and the hot spot stayed at 90. So if you need an idea for something like that, I'll show you real quick what I did. So basically, any shelving unit would work. I like the metal one because it was more sturdy. But you see, I insulated it with the foam board. I only used, I believe it's like a 1/2 inch roughly. You could even increase that to 1 inch. I did double it up on the sides and the top, and I enclosed everything with that foam board. The roof, the sides, and the bottom. So my heat from my heat mount's not going to go down into the wood. It's going to radiate up into the tub. And then I used just a radiant heater on low. I adjusted it, and it took very little. You see where it's adjusted now, and that's actually high. But just barely ran every once in a while. Basically, all I created was a reverse of a cooler. It's a warmer. You could stack 6 totes in this area, and then put a heat match on each tote with a thermostat. So if you guys run into an issue where you need to keep your reptiles in a cold area, but you need them to stay warm, I set that at 84 degrees, and then I had the hot spot at 90. And like I said, that went from anywhere from 0 or below degrees up to 40-50 degrees in the garage. So just a little tip if you guys ever need to do something like that. Here's an idea that might work for you. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe and see more of these videos. Thank you again. Have a great day.